Hello and welcome to The Red Menace. We're a comedy podcast bringing you the greatest stories from Australia, New Zealand, the United Kingdom, Mongolia, Canada.
Have we ever had a story from Mongolia?
Absolutely not. Brazil.
Okay.
South Africa. That's all the countries I can think of off the top of my head.
Not very many, Chris.
I know, it's
That's
chilly.
alarming.
It's
That's an alarmingly small amount of countries to think of off the top of your head.
Did I say Mexico? I don't know.
No.
It is election day in our little state of New South Wales. This will come out on Monday morning, but we're recording this on Saturday morning. And I've got to say, Alison, the atmosphere is really politically charged.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I heard one of my neighbours shout, "Oi, you dog," at a man on the street. And I know what he meant to say was metaphorically, I think that the state of this nation is that of a dog. So, that's what I mean when I say it's really politically charged.
Yeah. It's I mean, a lot of people in my neighbourhood have a lot of things to say about it, as I can see in my local suburbs Facebook group. Mostly, it's a lot of people complaining that people are getting too political, and not very many posts that are political.
Like, last night I heard one of my neighbours shout, "Shut it, Jenny," to their child, and I'm pretty confident that's because Jenny just wouldn't stop talking about the damned evils that ail this nation. And not, like, she wouldn't turn the TV off. So, like, who knows? But we're all politics is on our mind.
Well,
I actually have...
Yeah.
I have a starter story.
You've got a starter story? Cool.
I have a starter story it's a politics story.
Okay.
That I found about 10 minutes ago that I just want to bring to everyone's attention.
Okay, no worries.
This is in one of the Heralds.
There are a lot of Heralds.
There's a lot of Heralds. It's just called theherald.com.au, so I think it's the Sun Herald, maybe? I don't know. But Mike Daly starts election day with a meat pie.
Oh, cool. That's really good content.
New South Wales Labour leader Michael Daly hopes a meat pie with no sauce and a strawberry milk is the breakfast of champions.
What
Michael,
a disgusting Australian... It's the Newcastle Herald, by the way, theherald.com.au.
Okay, that makes sense. That is not a breakfast of champions.
It's not a breakfast... It's Nutri-Grain is the breakfast of champions, if we're to believe the advertising campaign.
A profoundly unhealthy breakfast.
That's a profoundly depressing breakfast. That's what... Okay, that's the kind of breakfast that you have at 5 a.m. in the morning.
It's 4 a.m.
And nothing else is open except the service station.
So, Mike's really going for relatability with that one.
No.
Hang
on, did you watch the Tony Abbott video with the
one where he talked about how he discovered books?
Yes.
That was really funny.
A lot of politicians are going for relatable content these days.
So foreign people who might not know anything about our politics, Tony Abbott is the former leader of our Liberal Party. Not what your definition of liberal is. Our Liberals are our right-wing party for some reason.
He likes walking around in budgie smugglers.
Or Speedos, or
underwear,
swimmers. It's not a good look.
No.
He once ate an onion raw.
He bit right into a raw onion on camera.
Also, he's like super racist and sexist.
Yeah, that's...
There's a quite funny John Oliver skit about him. If you want to learn a bit more about Australian politics, just YouTube that.
Anyway, he uploaded this video of him standing next to a little street library box thing, seemingly marvelling at the existence of books in his suburb.
Well, Alison, that's because he's only read one book, and it's the good book. It's the Book of the Lord. Tony Abbott's read that many, many times, but he hears about these demonic books like Harry Potter and this Lord of the Rings. Tony Abbott only has one Lord.
There's one true Lord, and he doesn't have any rings.
He doesn't. Well, he's married, but he won't wear a ring because he doesn't like having any sort of symbol to anyone outside of the Lord.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's breaking the commandments to praise his wife.
Oh, I want to hear about Michael Daly's relatability.
So that's pretty much it, is the problem. So apparently he kicked off Election Day with a House of Pie in Matraville on Saturday morning before he cast his vote at the nearby Chifley Public School.
Who do you think he voted for?
I think he voted for Gladys because he didn't want to seem too arrogant. He was really worried about... He's really self-conscious, Michael. Michael Daly is the leader of the New South Wales Labor Party, which is our, and I say this in the largest air quotes possible, our left-wing party. We don't have a left-wing party. So he's like the middle.
Sure.
And hot take, he maybe is going to lose.
He might very much lose.
I think
follow-up point. Why is Michael Daly in Chifley this morning when he represents Maroubra?
Well, it's kind of near Maroubra.
Where's Chifley?
You'd think that Maroubra would have a voting station. Chifley is in the eastern suburbs, so it's like nearby Maroubra.
Okay, sure.
I used to date someone who lived in Chifley, so I ended up going to
Chifley just sounds like it's a really far away place.
When I first was dating this person and she told me that it was in Chifley, I was like, that's made up. That's not
it's not a real place.
There's another place that I swore was made up for a long time. Let me find it on the Zetland.
Oh,
I thought
my
Zetland
dad
was
lives
made
in
up.
Zetland, and it
Zetland
sounds like a really far away magical place, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But it's not. It's just like a place with a couple of apartment buildings.
I'm just finding out which electorate that Chifley is in.
So, Mr. Daly said he has had his lucky pie since he ran for local council in 1995. He sat down and ate with the children of the pie shop's owner, and he told them, "Your mum makes a good pie." The kids gave Mr. Daly another piece of encouragement, writing him a note saying, "Good luck, Michael," and drawing a heart.
Okay.
They're on first name terms with the person who probably won't be Premier.
Yeah,
so that's pretty cool for them.
Well, that's why they have to write it on there, because they feel bad for him.
They can't say, "Good luck, future Premier." They have to say, "Good luck, Michael."
Good luck, Michael. Just whatever you do, good luck.
Good luck.
Just good.
And sorry for the future Gladys shithole that we're going to live in.
Oh, dear.
Do you have a story to start us off that's not about our impending suffering?
Well, let's see. I've got a lot of stories, actually, that are just random.
I like that.
This one's from Nine Honey.
Oh, that's the ladies' Nine
The
channel,
ladies' Channel 9.
Nine made sure that they differentiated between their ladies' channel and their boys' channel, which is kind of fucked up, Nine.
Yeah, it's like 10 did the same, though, with like 10 Peach.
Oh, that's
and
right.
10
yeah, and
Boss.
Now, if I want to read about The Bachelor, my favourite TV show, I have to go to 10 Peach, the girls' channel.
The girls' channel?
It feels so emasculating having to go and look at the girls' channel. It's almost like I'm not the target audience for The Bachelor.
Well, you can't really say that, can you? Because it's not like you have to go on the girls' one. It's just the Peach one.
I would love it if The Bachelorette was on the 10 Mate or whatever it's called, so it was on the boys'
10
one.
Boss.
10 Jesus
10 boss.
Christ. That's really reinforcing the
It
stereotypes.
really is, Chris. It's very bad.
So you have, one is the glass ceiling and one is a butt. That's the two different things.
Basically.
That's what our genders embody. Isn't that great?
And then I think 7 is the one with mate.
Oh, 7 mate.
7 mate.
7 mate.
God, our channels
7
are so
mate.
bad.
We got our Big Bang Theory reruns on 7 mate.
Big Bang Theory reruns and like the Cleveland Show. It's like the two.
We got the Cleveland Show. We got Extreme Fishing on 7 mate for all you blokes out there.
All you blokes out there. And then for all you nerdy blokes, because none of those women would understand the subtle humour of the Big Bang Theory.
We got our best, smartest show on television, starring our best friend, Sheldon Cooper. Bazinga.
I think like the funniest thing is if you've ever watched the promotional ads for like episodes of the Big Bang Theory on 7 Mate, they're very, very overdramatic about like the suspense element of the episode. It's like, will Sheldon and Penny kill each other?
Probably not.
Probably not,
because the show makes a shitload of money and it's incomprehensible.
Probably not because the show needs to appeal to the broadest amount of people and straight up murder doesn't appeal.
How good would it be if at the end of season a billion, if Penny and Sheldon did kill each other?
They just straight up murdered each other.
Violently murdered each other.
On camera. It was very graphic.
Yes. The start of the next season, they've replaced Sheldon and Penny with new actors and just don't comment on it.
Yeah, it's just
and that's
because they got
how it
renewed.
works.
They thought they were getting cancelled, so they just went all out with this episode. And then it was like, guys, good news! And they're all covered in blood from like the filming at this stage. We're getting renewed! And then they're like, oh jeez.
Jim Parsons like, I'm not coming back to this shit. I'm gonna go get Oscars and shit.
They burnt down the set on camera. It was a very meta episode, you know. They were like straight up murdering the camera people and the writer's room and then like burning down the set, and then they get renewed because of course they get renewed.
So was this one transmitted live? Are they doing like a live special?
Yes. And then, you know, they get renewed. And that's what they have to live with. But this isn't anything to do with the Big Bang Theory, because this is Channel 9, the esteemed broadcaster that now owns all of the newspapers that we read.
Channel 9 can also fuck right off, because they chose to not broadcast The American Bachelor this year, and I cannot watch it legally now, and I'm very upset by that.
That's awful.
My choices are either watch it illegally or don't watch The Bachelor, and the second one I think is a worse crime than the first one.
Well, yeah, in some ways. So I'm going to get right into this story, which is by Olivia Morris, and it was published 23 hours ago of recording.
Uh-oh.
And this says, Dad labelled a hero after doing this to his daughter's phone. It's a little bit of clickbait for you, so you can click through and see what this is.
Somehow I think I'm not going to appreciate what Dad has done to his daughter's phone. I get the feeling I'm going to disapprove.
It's very funny.
Okay.
With the constant development of technology and the rapid rise of social media, many people find themselves glued to their mobile phones, tablets and laptops all day long. Now, before I actually get into reading the rest of the story, this introduction is very much what my English as a second language IELTS students would write for their IELTS test. It's a very generic opening statement.
I think that you should get your IELTS students into journalism then.
Yeah,
it seems like
well,
they'd be
they could write
to
for
it.
However, one father recently decided to put a stop to this habit, taking a stand against his daughter's scrolling tendencies. So what do you think this guy did, this dad, Chris?
Did he put duct tape on her phone? What? I'm not sure how you'd stop it.
Colin Brazier, a presenter for Sky News in the UK, made the bold decision to throw his daughter's phone off a balcony into a field.
Okay. Alright, Colin.
Okay, Colin.
Okay, Colin, you know what? Phones cost money.
It cost a lot of money.
You just throw away $700, Colin.
I like how...
Or £400.
I like how throwing a phone off a balcony is a bold decision. What a brave man. What a brave man.
Colin, it's not brave, it's just littering. Some poor deer is going to eat that phone, and then it's going to get superpowers.
It'll become like iBoy deer.
It'll become idea. And then, Colin, the idea is going to come for you.
It's the stupidest thing I've ever read.
And then it will say, Colin, you are responsible. You are my Frankenstein to my monster.
Yeah.
You are now going to have to start a buddy cop superhero show with me, idea. And you, Colin, the Sky News presenter, and we're going to go and fight techno crime.
Yeah,
and
absolutely. And you're going to have to use your phone a lot and be really grumpy every time he has to take out his phone to solve the murder. Someone's going to be dying on the street, their blood's dripping out. And they're going to be like, please, call an ambulance, Colin. And Colin's going to be like, oh, you guys so obsessed with your phones and making phone calls these days. Back in my day.
But by the season 6 finale, there's going to be a twist that's planted for a long time where that season, Colin will have the latest iPhone that came out that year. And all the audience will be like, why does Colin have the latest iPhone?
Well,
why would Colin buy that? And then it's revealed at the end that he's actually a clone duplicate because the real Colin would never have the latest iPhone.
Yes, and that's revealed at the end of the season after you've believed this was Colin all along. And you just get subtle hints because you see him playing Candy Crush at one point, and Colin would never play Candy Crush.
Idea's like, what are you doing on your phone? And he's just like, oh, nothing. Just puts it away. Super sus. And at the end, Idea has to kill fake Colin. And I'd watch this show.
So my favourite thing about this is the attached photo at this point is an stock photo. With a man, like, a very blurry man, which has, like, it's cut off, like, at his nose, so you can't see his eyes and his nose. You can just see his lips and his body. It's very blurry, and his camera is in the foreground. His phone, is in the foreground, and it's not blurry. And then the caption says, "One father took some drastic measures to stop his daughter's phone obsession."
Actually, wait a fucking second. How did this become public knowledge?
Because he posted it on Twitter.
What a fuckhead. Throw your own phone off the balcony, Colin,
exactly.
you hypocritical shit.
He's like, my daughter's using Instagram too much. He posts angrily on his Twitter account that he regularly posts on.
Posts to his story. Oh my god, my terrible daughter is using Instagram all the time. # frustrated parenting.
This is what Colin wrote on his Twitter post of the photo of the phone in the field. You can't see the phone in the field. You just see, like, a grey nothingness. And you're to presume the phone is there because he says this. He says, "Somewhere in the field off this balcony is my teenage daughter's recently hurled smartphone. I'm sure a more constructive dialogue was possible, but sometimes following up on a parental threat simply has its own immutable logic. #GetStuffedInstagram."
Colin, so much of what you just said is problematic. So, setting aside the obvious hypocrisy and weird brand loyalty you have to Twitter and trying to take down Instagram, you're like one of those people who's like, oh, Xbox is for lame, PlayStation for lame. So, your daughter's going to go exploring in that field to find her phone, and she's going to get eaten by a big bison, Colin, and you are going to be responsible for that when your daughter gets crocodiled. Because you know that nature is dangerous, Colin.
Yeah.
You live in the UK, a land with many a dangerous creature.
I just like how this guy's, like, blatantly bragging about wasting all his money on a bloody phone for his daughter. Because, okay, here's the two scenarios. If she paid for that herself, that's, like, you know, quite bad to throw off. It's something that she has paid for with her hard-earned money off the balcony. Okay. Set that aside. Now, the real scenario here, he's a Sky News anchor. He's probably got a lot of money. He threw her phone off the balcony that he paid for. Sooner or later, he's going to have to buy another one for her.
Yeah, do you think maybe she did this on purpose? Because this way she gets a new phone.
She's like, "Oh, Dad, I'm using Instagram. What do you have to say about that, Dad?"
I have an idea, which is to protest against Colin's wanton destruction of phones. Not even to protest, I just like the idea of posting a picture of a space and saying, here's a photo of my new iPhone XS Max, and it's just a field. Like, I'm going to post a photo of just, like, my bedroom, and I'll be, like, super excited by the new crockery I bought today. I'll post a picture of the ocean and I'll be like, I'm going to be flying to Malta later this year. Super excited.
He could have at least posted a video of himself hurling it off the balcony. Then at least you'd have, like...
What if he just posted a video of the field? That's just him panning across the field. He's like, look at this beautiful field. I threw my daughter's phone in here a week ago. Who knows if it's still there? #archaeology.
Now, I'm going to get on with this story because there's more to it that I've got to...
Really?
I've got to bring this up. Okay. It says, the 50-year-old who has 6 children has been praised for his inspirational actions. BBC News anchor Luquesa Burak admitted she has previously smashed 2 phones, which has resulted in her using good old-fashioned Nokia phones. Now, Let me read how.
Like, does she?
Let me read how she smashed the phones.
Okay.
I hear you, Colin. I've smashed too with the Pester and Mortal after throwing on tiled kitchen floor wasn't effective enough. I have another...
What the fuck is up with news anchors?
I don't know.
Why are they just throwing phones
Why are
away?
they just destroying phones, Chris? The phones that they have bought for their children. And then...
So she just took her child's phone and pelted it at the floor, and then when that didn't work, she got a fucking...
mortar and pestle.
and
And
pestle to smash
grinded
it
it
up.
to bits.
That's fucking sadistic, psychopathic shit.
Why? It's such a... Like, here's the thing. She says, we've now found a happy or grumpy, well, I'm happy, medium with Nokia, no social media, yay. Why didn't you just buy your daughters the Nokia phone in the first place?
Because she had to make a statement by
Why
destroying...
did you buy them, like, an expensive smartphone and then smash it to bits and then buy them a Nokia phone?
She really wanted to stick it to Apple by giving them $1,000 before she broke their thing.
Let's cut out the middleman and just buy a Nokia phone for your kids right away. Like...
Oh my god.
What is this, like, phenomenon of, like, rich people bragging about smashing up their kids' expensive belongings
Alison,
that they've bought for them?
It's news anchors specifically.
Specifically news people.
Maybe it's because they have to look at screens to read off all day, so when they get home, they're just like, if I see a screen, I'm going to fucking stab someone.
Oh, yeah, for sure. They just get so... Sorry, I had a notification pop up. They just get so angry at that prospect. Now, another person, Rupert Evelyn, says, bravo, I feel inspired. Graham Wetone says, wow, my admiration for you just went up tenfold. Was that prefaced with, you wouldn't? Paul Ryan says, you are even braver than I thought. Bravo.
This is all deeply concerning.
Here's how you win the respect of baby boomers. Just throw your children's phone off the balcony.
Yeah, just be an unproductive shithead. Break things when you're angry. That's how you get these people to love you.
Break a lot of belongings that your children have.
You know when your child is doing something that you find difficult or challenging and like doesn't really jive with your worldview. So what you need to do is don't try and explain to them how it works and don't try and talk them through the situation. Just break shit. Just, like, take a fucking cricket bat and start going to town on the furniture until they stop. They'll learn a lesson, and it's not abusive at all.
Yeah, and you know what? It's not especially not bad? Wasting all your money buying expensive things just to break.
What if you went and you were like, I'm going to punish you now, child. And then you took them out and you bought a vase and you threw it on the ground. And they're like, okay, what? I don't...
All right, thanks. Now, I think the good bit about this article is Olivia Morris, the Nine Honey writer, has written this as the final statement. It is ironic, though, how this father's bid to get his daughter off social media resulted in him posting on social media himself. Just food for thought. I
think that you are being far too subtle with that. What if there was like a kid...
Olivia, you could be more blatant.
When they're like, you're spending too much time at home playing too many computer games, and then they take all of the kids' Warhammers and put them in a blender, and then just make them watch as they blend the Warhammers.
As they blend them to pieces.
And then they make them drink the plastic juice.
Yeah, well, that's beautiful. And sprinkle the plastic juice, like, inside all their meals from now on.
On all of their cereal every morning as a topping of plastic.
And be like, this is what you're doing to the earth when you play video games.
And they're like, no, it's not. You're doing it to my stomach right now.
You're doing it to my stomach. You're turning me into one of those poor, like, albatrosses that's eaten too much plastic.
Well, that's a fun, fucked up science experiment to try.
It is. And just don't throw your kids' phones off balconies.
No, it seems ill-advised.
If you don't want them to play on social media, firstly, don't play on social media yourself. Secondly, just buy them a phone where they can't use social media to begin with and solve the problem.
Buy them the brick phone from the 1990s, because then all their friends will make fun of them.
I have a number of them, so if you want to purchase one of me, Sky News, go ahead. I have a lot to get rid of.
Just tweet at Alison. We know you use Twitter.
Tweet at me. I'm leaving the country soon. I need to get rid of all my Nokia brick phones.
So I have a story from ladbible.com, esteemed journalism site.
Now, did you see the video that was like done inside the Lad Bible newsroom of them like pitching their stories for the week?
I did not, but I'm horrified just based on the concept.
It's like a little documentary insider into the Lad Bible newsroom. And you saw like their editorial meeting where all the Lad Bible staff writers are pitching their stories that they're going to write about. It's very funny.
Damn it, now I do want to watch that. Okay, I'll watch that after we record.
Watch that after we record. Everyone else watch that. It's very funny.
So this story was submitted to me by my friend Marianne, who's become quickly my most frequent and highest quality story submitter. And I encourage Marianne to keep up the good work, because it means I don't have to do any work, and I'm super into that.
Yeah, well, that's perfect.
I'm going to skip the headline of this because it gives away the twist, and the twist is beautiful.
Okay.
Kaylee Greer from Stevenage, Hertfordshire.
We've got a lot of English stories coming in today.
We do. Had her heart set on a grey cabinet design, but was told by the store that they didn't have any left, so she chose blue instead. But after spending the past 3 years disappointed with her blue cabinet, she has finally removed the protective film to discover that it was actually the shade she had wanted all along.
What a dumbass! Although, to be fair, I did that with my old phone for a while because it had a little bit of plastic over where the camera lens was, and I'm like, why are all these photos so poor quality?
Oh, fuck.
It's a long time to not realise that there was protective plastic on it.
Over the past few years, she and her husband had come to terms with their lot in life. They would never have the drawers of their dreams, and they were okay with it.
Sure.
But Kaylee forgot that miracles do happen, at least when clerical errors at warehouses do. And while cleaning the house, the 35-year-old made the incredible discovery. She said, "I never had any suspicions that the blue colour was a protective film. I knew there was white tape along the top of each drawer, which I thought was protection and would eventually need peeling off. Then I was deep cleaning the bedroom the other day, and I was down near the cabinet vacuuming, and I thought, while I'm down here, I may as well finally peel off that tape 3 years later."
Why hadn't she peeled?
It's like when I go over to someone's house and their TV still has the protective film on it, and it makes me so upset to look at.
Yeah.
Like, I get protective film OCD. Like, I just can't. The moment I purchase anything...
Especially when it's starting to peel a little bit and you can see, like, the corner is coming down and you just really want to grab that and just peel it off.
You can see, like, one bubble in there.
Yeah, exactly.
I just want to pop it so badly.
Yeah, exactly.
But as I started to peel, I noticed the blue film had lifted, and I panicked and I thought I had ruined the unit. Actually, no, she's phrased it, I panicked and I thought I had ruined unit. So she's missed a word there, but I like that.
Missed the article. Ruined unit. That sounds like a really good punk band name.
It does sound like a good
I'm
punk
going to trademark that so my future punk band can be called Ruined Unit.
Hi, we're Ruined Unit, and this is a song about the New South Wales election.
Yeah. This is about Michael Daly eating a pie and strawberry milk for breakfast.
Then they all leap into the air and overwhelmingly loud music starts playing. But unfortunately, that's now going to be illegal because of the New South Wales election.
I just had a thought about Michael Daly eating a strawberry milk. I feel like there's probably a lot of weird men who would comment and, like, see drinking strawberry milk as emasculating and, like, comment, why isn't he drinking chocolate milk or, like, coffee-flavoured milk like a real man? I really want to see the comments section and see if that exists, because I feel like it's something someone would post.
I have a theory, because I think that he, being the more left-wing candidate up against the more right-wing candidate who is a woman, he's trying to be like, oh no, we normally want to try and, like, because I think more women traditionally are left-wing. That might be an incorrect assumption, but I think he's, like, trying to feminize himself a little bit to appeal to women more. So he's like, trying to drink that strawberry milk.
How do I make myself more appealing to the ladies?
To the female voters, drink strawberry milk.
I'm going to do some relatable content. Got to eat, like a hearty meat pie for the blokes and some strawberry milk for the girls.
It's just sugar, Michael. It's so bad for you.
Anyway,
Okay.
you can continue with that story. That was a really weird aside.
It's okay. Amazed with her find, the mum of 3 raced downstairs to tell her husband the good news. Needless to say, Darren, 48, was beside himself with excitement and ran upstairs
Why are
to
these
see.
people so excited about the fucking cabinet?
Not a lot happens in their lives,
No.
Alison. Game of Thrones doesn't come back for another month.
Well,
What do
clearly.
you want them to do?
Yeah.
This is a little English family up in the cold north. Nothing goes on up there. They haven't been outside in a year.
No, they're just, well, clearly they haven't used their cabinet that well, or else the plastic would have come off by now, but anyway.
Kaylee said they much prefer the cabinet now, and it's like having a brand new unit without having to spend any extra money, apart from the money they paid 3 years ago, that is.
Well, that's true.
I like this idea of you increase the longevity of all your possessions by leaving the protective film on them for 3 years, so that when you finally take it off, you just get that.
It's like you've got a new
rush.
item, and then people come around and they're like, oh, did you get a new cabinet? And you're like, yeah, I did. And that's the end of the conversation. But you feel like really smug because someone noticed your new cabinet and like said, oh, do you have a new cabinet? In a positive way. And because you're like a basic, you know, English countryside person, that makes your life when someone notices your new cabinetry.
That's the most dramatic thing to happen all week.
Yeah, that's like, ooh. And then the like, her friend will go around to all the other ladies in the neighbourhood and say, did you know that Margie has a new cabinet?
Margie has a new cabinet, and it's not blue, it's grey.
Margie has a new grey cabinet. Can you believe
Margie
it?
Margie has a new grey cabinet. Can you believe it?
It's like, I preferred when she had the blue cabinet, actually.
This one's so gauche. She added, Darren was downstairs with the kids, and I came down with all this blue film scrunched up in my arms. He asked me where it had come from, and when I told him it came from the cabinet, he burst out laughing before rushing upstairs to see what I'd done. He thinks it's amazing. He prefers the cabinet now to before.
Well,
what a whirlwind,
If
eh?
I'm imagining this blue film as I am, it's probably a very, like, bright, obviously protective film colour blue.
It's like a cellophane blue.
Yeah.
It's a sort of a... like a jeans blue, is how I would describe it.
Oh, okay. Jeans blue.
Can I say that the topics, like the keyword topics at the bottom of this article are UK, news, interesting. I don't know if that's accurate.
I feel like that's a stretch. Like, two
Yeah.
of those words are a stretch. News and interesting.
Interesting. It happened in the UK. We can
Well,
say
we
that
can
for
say
sure.
that. So that's one true hashtag on that story.
Do you have another story for us?
Well, I've also got a story from an esteemed British publication, The Sun.
All right.
But tell you what, I read this story in an Australian newspaper first, which had syndicated it from The Sun. So I'm just
That's
I'm just going to go
ominous.
straight to the source because, you know, I don't believe in any of this syndication stuff. I want to go to the
Let's
original.
find out how this fucking news sausage gets made. up in the UK.
Exactly. And this is by John Lockett. And this is from, well...
The most English name I've heard in my entire
well,
life.
exactly. And it
Hi,
says...
I'm John Lockett.
I'm John Lockett, and this is the Sun News. So the headline goes, Flat Earthers plan trip to Antarctica to reach end of the world and prove bizarre conspiracy theory that planet isn't round.
Yes!
Yes! Good on them.
Do it!
Go to the edge of the Earth.
Go to the ice wall. Go find it. Climb that shit. Fight the governments that guard it.
This is what John Lockett has put as the subheading. Many have pointed out that the ship taking them will use navigational equipment which counts on the Earth being a sphere. Oh no.
Oh my god, that's beautiful. How do they think compasses work?
I don't know.
Yeah, anyway, that was just a thought.
That's a thought. I can't even imagine. There's a lot of a lot of.
This could be a really dramatic movie.
I
This could
want
be
to see this made as a movie.
Yeah, because you can build it up as this like really tense thriller, like drama. They're on the high seas. They get closer. One of them gets scurvy. One of them gets eaten. Like so much crazy stuff happens, and then they get there, and it's just Antarctica.
It's just they're like, there's a lot of penguins.
And they're like,
but you know what? They
all
see
of their
penguins
worlds
for the
get
first
rocked.
time, and they feel a lot of joy because I feel like seeing penguins would bring any person joy.
It would, but then they feel a lot of sorrow because their entire worldview gets dismantled by the visage of the penguins. That they're what? Well, okay. Firstly, they're going to kill a penguin because they're going to think it's a government secret
Well, they
agent
will
that's
because it looks like it's
protecting
wearing a suit.
The ice wall has been the camouflage.
And do you know what? They're going to
obviously.
think, because penguins are not that tall. Like, at the most, they're like a metre high with, the emperor penguins. So they're going to think it's like a secret agent child. And the flat earthers are going to believe that the government is hiring children's secret agents to, like, thwart their mission.
Alison, those are they're the counteracting agents to the lizard people. They're the bird people.
Well, true.
So, like,
yeah.
that's a very
Well,
real
they're on
thing.
the good side then, aren't they?
Yeah. To anyone who's not as familiar with flat Earth mythology as Alison and I seem to be, flat Earth's consensus at the moment is that, well, obviously the Earth is it's a disk, and that surrounding said disk there is a giant wall of ice that's
Yes.
guarded by a unilateral Earth government.
And now there's a lot of debate within the flat Earth community about whether or not the disk is covered by a dome. I'm not sure if you could weigh in on this. What do you feel? Is the disc Earth covered in a dome or not?
I don't think it is, because I think it's more fun if there's no ceiling on it. So if you throw if you throw a tennis ball hard enough, it goes to space.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I think that's very fun. I'm
Yeah.
also very taken by this idea of a disc with no roof that shit could fall through at any given time, just like floating around in space.
Yeah, a disc that if you like dug down far enough, you would fall down the bottom.
You just fall out.
You just fall down.
Fall out.
It's
out
like
into space.
like on Minecraft when you like spawn in some like weird floating thing in the sky and you like dig down and you just fall down to your death.
What if you dig too far and then that pops the atmosphere bubble and then all of the air gets sucked out of the world because you dug too
it's
deep,
like the
man?
plug hole. Like the atmosphere just... I'm going to read more about this expedition because I feel like you need to know about their endeavours here. So it says, conspiracy theorists are heading to the end of the world in a bizarre bid to prove the Earth is in a sphere. The flat earthers... Oh, this is a bad typo. A bad typo, John, because it's supposed to say the flat earthers plan to sail to Antarctica. But it says the flat earthers plane to sail to Antarctica to find the frozen barrier they believe marks the edge of our world.
It means their boat is going to be dragged behind a plane. That's the only way.
Sure. It's like a blatant typo right there.
They can't use normal navigational equipment.
This is why we need sub-editors. The supposed ice wall is said to be several hundred metres thick, towers 50 metres high, and surrounds the entire planet. Next year's trip...
Can I say that I feel that they've got their thickness to height ratio kind of fucked up? I think it should be higher and not as thick so that it's harder to get over.
Yeah.
Because you can just get over that with, like,
50
people can
metres,
ice
no
climb
worries.
that high.
Yeah.
Like, that's achievable.
Yeah. People built buildings... You just get like a forklift or something, and you could probably get up
Yeah,
there.
exactly. Just set up some
Build
scaffolding.
build some scaffolding, you got up there, no worries. But
Just get a really, really big ladder.
their science, that's what their science has deduced, so we can't really debate their science, because we're not scientists, Chris. We're just simply
That's true.
podcasters.
That's true.
Next year's trip, details of which are being kept under wraps, is being organised by the Flat Earth International Conference. Now here's the worst part of the entire story.
FIAC.
Even YouTube star Logan Paul wants to join the expedition so he can find the facts.
Okay. Maybe this boat could sink. That could be...
I kind of want,
Maybe he's the one who gets eaten.
yeah, maybe he's the sacrifice.
Because you know he brought lots of, like, chocolate and lollies and stuff, and everybody wants his confectionery, so they kill him first.
Exactly. Yeah, I
'Cause they...
don't know, what? Is Logan Paul going on there to, find the facts that the Earth is flat? Is Logan Paul a flat earther? Is that
I
what
think
I'm...
he's just realised that if he says Logan Paul is a flat earther, he gets more views from
Well,
impressionable
probably.
teens.
Because there probably are... I feel like the Flat Earth fan base is quite, dedicated to their craft. You know, the Flat Earthers are very...
I'll say this, that since Logan Paul started doing the flat earth bullshit, I'm 100% confident that their fan numbers have increased exponentially.
Well,
So, like,
probably.
you're going to get like 11-year-old flat earthers now because
Yeah.
they watch Logan Paul.
Well, it's a new generation of flat earthers. You can't have like a whole conspiracy theory that's full of old
Flat
people.
Earth, the next generation.
The next gen. So, Fike founder Robbie Davidson told Forbes, if you take a globe and you squish it down, the Antarctica would go all the way around the Earth. It's like a kind of an ice shore, and it's very, very large. It's not like you just go there and you can just peek over it. We don't...
No shit.
just like peep over the edge and say, oh, there's space. We don't believe anything can fall off the edge because a big portion of the flat earth community believes we're in a dome like a snow globe. So the sun, moon and stars are all inside. It's very high but all contained inside. So there's no way to actually fall off the earth.
Okay, so that's the question, is there an outside or is that just non-existence? Like, does it simply not exist? Or can you not pierce the dome? Is it impenetrable?
Well, have you seen The Truman Show?
No, actually.
Outside the dome is like the actual real world, and then there's like a director and all of that who are directing what happens in Truman's Dome universe. So maybe like the entire of humanity is inside a Truman Show dome.
I've got to say then, this is a particularly shitty TV show.
It's a really bad TV. There's too many plot lines. There's too many characters.
Season 5 Game of Thrones, the worst one, and everybody is just over it. They're like, this is up. It's just a slog at this point.
This has like the story development of Fantastic Beasts 2. There's just too many characters.
Too many characters.
There's
no
no
driving.
second arc. There's all just...
It's all first act, you guys.
It's all first act. We don't know what's happening.
It's all first act and then the movie ends.
Random characters pop up and you're like, am I supposed to know who this person is?
And Johnny Depp is always there, no matter how hard you try to have him not
Johnny
there. Johnny Depp is somehow always fucking there.
Yeah, he's always there. Yeah. So Logan Paul on the ship, and they said, many are quick to point out that the ship taking them will use navigational equipment which counts on the Earth being a sphere. Global position systems, in particular, use a network of satellites that orbit the Earth to ping off each other and pinpoint one's location.
They could just orbit the dome.
They could orbit the dome. Well...
I mean, they're stuck to the dome's roof,
obviously.
Yeah,
and they'd, like, dangle down on a string. It's like...
Just a fishing wire.
Yeah, exactly.
So here's a question. Do meteors come from inside the dome or outside the dome? Because if they come from outside the dome, someone would have to do, like, a lot of repair work on that dome.
Yeah, they would. But I don't know. Maybe they probably... Because if the stars are inside the dome... in this theory, the dome is big.
Quite large.
It's quite big. Maybe, like, larger than a skyscraper, you know?
Well, like, it's Earth-sized.
Yeah, it's like the entire Earth plus a lot of stars. In this theory, I'm not sure if the stars are really, really small or if the stars are the same size that they are and the dome is like...
Well, how would you know is the thing? Because they could just be very small and quite close.
Yeah, they're just, you know, like if you like get up on a ladder, you could probably like grab one down.
I'll have to try that later.
You just like reach up and you're like, oh, there's a star in my hand. Great. It says, in a report by The Guardian, a long-time cruise ship captain gave his thoughts on the Fikes' plans. He said, I have sailed 2 million miles, give or take. I have not encountered one sea captain who believes the Earth is flat. Some people believe the world is flat because they cannot see a curve in photos or when travelling. Others claim images showing the world as a sphere are generated on a computer and not actually taken from space. The general consensus by flat earthers is that the idea of the world as round is a way NASA can dupe society along with governments to keep control. The Flat Earth Society suggests the biggest space agencies of the world conspired to fake space travel to hide the Earth's biggest secret. And that's the end of the story. I hope the exhibition goes well, the expedition, and I hope they don't take Logan Paul on the ship unless they plan to throw him off the ship.
Or eat him.
Or eat him.
Can I give you a story? This one's from 9 News.
Okay.
This one was.
Oh, we're getting
also,
into 9 as well. Is it from 9 Honey?
No, this is 9 News.
This is
Alison.
men's news.
This is
men's
serious
stuff.
news. Serious news for men.
For men.
So this is actually a few weeks old. This was submitted to me by my friend Marianne as well.
Oh,
this one
good on you, Marianne.
I've wanted to say for a while, but it's just never quite slotted into an episode. But I feel like it's
Sure.
a nice, quick one to finish off here.
Yeah.
So, this is originally by CNN, but it's been put on 9 News.
Okay.
And man and dog survive off taco sauce while trapped in the snow for 5 days.
It's disgusting.
This...
I'd rather die.
The snow-trapped Jeremy R. Taylor, but taco sauce saved his life.
Oh no.
It all began last Sunday when Taylor, along with his dog Allie, went to get gas for his Toyota 4Runner, according to the Dutchess County Sheriff Office in Bend, Oregon. Taylor told investigators his SUV got stuck in the snow. He then fell asleep and woke up Monday to even more snow, unable to get out of the vehicle. He tried to walk out Monday, but the snow was too deep and made it hard to walk, so he and his dog returned to the vehicle, the sheriff's office said. Sunday has been the last day he was seen, but Wednesday a missing persons alert was put out for him. Over the next few days, after initially getting stuck, Taylor sold audiences he stayed warm by periodically starting his vehicle and used a few taco sauce packets he had as food.
Oh.
It's not clear how he or the dog got water.
Oh no. Well, it's snow outside and snow is water. You just get a handful and melt it.
So you don't have a car, do you?
No.
Do you know anyone that has a car, or do you go in a car in any sort of regular schedule? If you had to survive in that car for 5 days, what would you be eating? It's a dark concept to think about, Alison. Because what it is there's one McDonald's chip on the floor.
There's always a stray McDonald's chip in your car. Even if you haven't actually been to McDonald's, there's just always a McDonald's chip.
You have to make that one McDonald's chip from a year ago last 5 days.
Oh, dear.
It's a challenge. I think for the first 2 days you just don't eat it. I think you save it until you really need the energy, and then you start nibbling at the McDonald's chip. And you nibble at the mouldy bits last, because that's when it's getting really desperate.
But it doesn't get mouldy.
Well, that's because it's made of nothing but chemical.
One of my friends, and I don't know if I should name him and shame him on this podcast, but one of my friends has a car that's literally, when you sit in the passenger seat, your feet are resting on a huge pile of empty plastic bottles.
Yeah.
And I feel if I was in his car, there might be some dregs in those plastic bottles.
Okay, so
dregs of chocolate milk, or dregs of
Jesus Christ.
dregs of iced tea, or dregs of
the milk, Alison, will be so ungood.
It's just little drips of spoiled milk.
Oh my! You'll throw up in the car. Then that'll give you something to eat at least.
Oh no!
Yuck.
This is why you shouldn't clean your car, though. You've got to have some kind of food to sustain you.
See, my mum would have to survive on chewing gum, and that would be, I think, better than the McDonald's chip, because that at least will always taste fresh.
We used to always have Werther's Originals in the car.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So, if I was stuck in my mum's car as a child, I could live exclusively off Werther's Originals, which I don't think would be too bad.
How do you think... Because the dog would be a problem, I feel like. Because dogs don't get the concept of rationing.
No, they don't. They just, chow on down.
Yeah, so if you had the taco sauce, the dog would be like, I smell taco sauce. Give me the fucking taco sauce. And you know how, dogs, after, 4 hours, they'll start making the I want food noise?
Yeah.
5 days. It's been 4 days and you've eaten all the taco sauce.
Yeah.
Do you think he saved, he rationed out the taco sauce, or do you think he just pounded it on, day 2?
I think the taco sauce was a false flag in this operation. Because surely, in what circumstances did he get lost in his car?
He was driving to the shops and he got snowed in.
Yeah, he was driving to the shops. That's what they all say. Do you know what he was? He was like moonlighting as an like underground Uber driver, doing Uber Eats, and he had a whole delivery of Uber Eats that he was going to deliver. And he's not going to tell anyone that he was moonlighting as an Uber Eats delivery driver. And everyone was like, how did you survive for 5 days in the car without food? And he's like racking his brain. He did have some taco sauce because he had a whole bloody bag of Mexican food that he was delivering to someone.
Okay, so that dog actually got to eat some tasty enchiladas.
That dog got to eat a lot of enchiladas.
Last time I ate enchiladas was when I had dinner with you and your sister, and I did get food poisoning, and I will not be eating those enchiladas again.
Yeah, that's a really depressing situation. I'll make enchiladas at my house, and they won't give you food poisoning.
That would be awesome, because I need to remove the enchilada stain from my
You need
stomach
to
memory.
remove that. You need to, like, get rid of that tainting.
Yeah,
Are you ever going to go back to that place?
I mean, if I'm being honest, probably, because
Because
there's
it's the only food place that's
there's
open in your
few restaurants near where I live.
You know, it's like you get, like, have a very, very, very bad experience with a restaurant, but you go back because you've basically got Stockholm Syndrome. And you know you're going to need to... You tell yourself, I'm never going back there again, but then you go back a lot.
Well, I just won't have the chicken enchiladas.
You'll just eat something else.
I'll eat a burger and I'll eat one of those giant cocktails with the drink stapled upside down to the side of it. I don't see how that could give me food poisoning. That can only give me alcohol poisoning.
Well,
and
exactly, and that's two different things.
Yeah, I know how to handle that. You just go to the hospital. Whereas food poisoning, you have to wake up at 2 a.m. and throw up, which is not
and maybe go to the
easy.
toilet a lot.
Yeah, well, we don't need to talk about that.
Can I tell you a really disgusting story for a second?
I feel like you're going to.
It's not really that. Well, it's kind of... One of my students one day, this is maybe a few years ago when I was teaching a beginner class, she was like sick and she wanted to go home, but she used Google Translate on her phone to, tell me what the problem was. And then it was like, I'm pretty sure it was like, my shit flows freely. What's the translation?
I am liquid.
Okay, you can go home, please.
I am a fluid being.
Oh,
I am one with the air.
Such a really funny translation.
Why would it translate to shit?
I don't know what she typed in her language to get that.
Would my shit flows freely be worse than my poo flows freely? I don't know which is the worst one. And on that...
That's a really... I'm sorry for bringing that up, but it's a fun translation error. Please don't use Google Translate as a reliable source of translation.
On that, let's end the show, because we're at about time.
Yeah, we're at a good length, I think.
If we stay here too long, my shit's going to start flowing freely. And that's
If we
just
stay
dangerous.
here too long, we're going to miss our vote, and we're going to have to pay a fee.
That is true, and I cannot abide by that.
No.
Okay, so thank you for listening. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at RedMenaceCast. If you have any stories to submit, feel free to just message them to us or email them at redmenacecast@gmail.com. Yeah, that's all the stuff that we usually say.
That's some good plugging there.
When are you going to Indonesia?
At the end of April.
So there might be a temporary disruption in our uploads for a week or two at the end of April. We'll see how we go. We have to sort of figure out how to podcast from a different country.
Pretty much the same way we're doing it now. It just involves me getting a stable internet.
Yeah, so, we'll take a rain check on that. We'll post on the
We'll
Twitter
let you
about
know if there's any
what's happening.
delays there. But we'll be back to your regular scheduled content after the delay.
At some point.
At some point.
All right. So I've got our final headline from the best paper in the world, the Otago Daily News, who's been out of... Otago Daily Times, sorry. Who's been out of the podcast for a bit.
Oh, that's a bit sad.
But they're
back.
They're back.
They're back in the game. They know that we haven't been using them for a while, and they've been a bit...
And I gotta say, they're back with a fucking vengeance this time.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad.
So this is a story about someone who's really into pot plants.
Okay.
Love story. Fostering a potty obsession.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
All right,
not great.
Have a nice week. I hope our country's less fucked on Monday. It probably won't be.
No, it'll be always just as fucked.
And, let your shit flow freely.
Yes, indeed.
Goodbye.
Farewell.